What are the transverse abdominals? I mentioned this in my reel this morning about how you can flatten your stomach by engaging your transverse abs. So what does that even mean? Your transverse abs, you have lots and lots of layers of abs in your stomach, and your transverse are your very deepest layer, the ones that are down deep underneath all the other ones. They stretch all the way from your rib cage down to your pelvis, and it connects clear from your spine to the front. It connects everything down there. They are so incredibly powerful. Your transverse abs, once you learn how to strengthen them and how to engage them, will change not only your posture, but your injury prevention and your strength and your stability, everything. They affect so much. So that's why they are so crucial, and that's why they are my very favorite muscle in the body. So let's first find what are your transverse abdominals. I want you to feel what they are so that you know where they are. The best way to feel them is to touch your hip bones and then move in just a little bit, and then either breathe out really fast and hard or make like a cough, like when you do that, you can feel that muscle flex under there, right? That muscle is your transverse abdominis. Again, we want to make sure that that is engaged. Let me just talk about posture for a moment. With bad posture, usually you're kind of slouchy like this, right? If you roll your shoulders back and you tilt your hips forward, all of a sudden your stomach is flatter, but also there's no more pressure on your low back. Same thing when you're lifting. A lot of people when they're lifting weights will, like if you're doing a shoulder press, watch my posture, watch my low back. When the weight gets heavy and I start to reach up, there's an arch, right? And you can see that my hips have come to the back in order to counterbalance the weight on my shoulders. But what that does is it just takes all the pain and all the stress and all the strain that you're putting on your body, takes it out of the muscles and puts it right back into your low back. We don't want that. So let's try this again by engaging the transverse abs. So let's breathe out. We can feel that. You can see that hip come forward, right? So let's do that one more time. Pull those belly button muscles in, reel down low, turn those hips so that they're forward, and now let's press up. There's no pressure on the back at all. All I'm working now is the muscles that I want to be, and all the pain and all the joint pressure, all the tightness is gone. There is none of that risk. There's none of that potential injury because I've engaged my transverse abs. So you can see the power in that. Now let's talk about just walking form. If I'm just walking and my hips are behind me, again, where is all that pressure? Right in my low back. If, on the other hand, I engage those transverse abs, as I'm walking, the pressure and the weight comes down into my leg muscles, not my joints. So powerful. It's able to prevent you from risking injury. It's able to prevent you from tightness, from pain in your low back, all of that good stuff. All you have to do is tilt your hips forward. Picture your hips are like a bucket, and if your hips are tilting forward, then your water is about to pour out the top, right? So you want to tilt your bucket so that it's upright. Some of you will have posterior pelvic tilt, which means that your hips actually tilt to the back, like if your bucket is about to dump out the back. Again, we want to engage those transverse abdominis muscles to keep your hips nice and upright. If your pelvis is square, then your body is able to distribute the weight and the pressure of whatever you're doing evenly through your muscles instead of unevenly to one target area or one pressure point, like your low back. That's usually where it happens. So I want you to engage your transverse abs. How do we do this? One way is when you are doing anything where you are exerting effort, anything that makes you tired, any sort of exercise or anything that you're carrying something heavy, anything like that. I want you to breathe out like you're breathing through a straw. So instead of just releasing, I want you to breathe out and you feel that. If you do that, you'll be able to feel those transverse abdominal muscles. Let's do that again. You can feel those muscles tighten and flex in there. That is how you engage your transverse abdominis muscles without thinking about it. By breathing like you're breathing through a straw. A forceful breath will engage these muscles. The other way to do it is by simply thinking about tilting your hips. So that hip tilt, when you are working on your posture, that hip tilt will help keep your shoulders back. Watch as my shoulders are rounded, and then I hip tilt and my shoulders come back. Okay, so those two parts work together. That reel that I posted is about flattening your stomach by working your posture and your pelvic tilt or your transverse abdominal muscles. So now that you know what those abdominal muscles are, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to strengthen them. 3 exercises you can do to strengthen your transverse abdominis muscles today. The first exercise is leg raises. You're going to lay down on your back, tilt your hips forward. Again, you want them to be nice in alignment. A good way to do that is to put your hands underneath your hips. You don't want your hands up here on the top because that does the opposite. You want to press your low back. If you watch, you can see there's a gap between my back and the ground. When I tilt my hips, that gap is gone. You don't want any gap between your back and the floor when you're doing ab exercises. So tilt those pelvis, or tilt your pelvis, engage those transverse abdominis muscles, and then the modified version is to do one leg at a time. So keep one leg down and take the other leg up, then switch. The next level is both legs going up and down. If you pick your head up, it helps to keep your back flat as well. There's another tip for you. Or you can do the advanced version where you do both legs down and up. Again, you're keeping that transverse abdominis flexed. Keep these muscles pulled in tight and keep your hips tilted this way. That will strengthen those transverse abdominis muscles so that you can use them more in your daily life. The next one is called the figure 4. So you're going to cross one leg over the other like this, if you can see that. Then you'll reach through and wrap your hands around this bent leg here. Get a nice little stretch on your low back first, and then take those hands, put them back underneath your hips, tilt those hips back towards you. You're going to touch your heel to the floor, and then come all the way up. Heel to the floor, come up as far as you can. Keep your leg crossed over top there. That helps you get into this hip here. So you're coming up and down. The advanced version of this, straighten your leg. So your whole long lever comes all the way up and down. We'll trade sides. Go through the other way, get your stretch first, then touch heel and back up. Or straighten your leg and go all the way down, all the way up. The next way to strengthen your transverse abdominis is a plank, but not just any regular old plank. Modified plank is on your knees, advanced plank is on your toes. But what I want you to think about is, where is your pelvis? So if you can see right now, you can see there's a little bit of a dip in my back. If I engage my transverse abdominis, that dip is gone and my back stays nice and flat. That's what you want when you plank. You're going to keep your eyes forward so that there's no stress on your neck. Keep your eyes forward, keep your pelvis tilted, and you can be on toes or knees, it doesn't matter. Then you're just going to hold this position for 30 to 60 seconds. And that is how you do a proper plank with pelvic tilt. All right, you guys, so there's your 3 exercises on how to strengthen your transverse abdominis and how to use it in your daily life. Remember, breathe forcefully or tilt those hips upwards so that they are nice and vertical. When you have that, you've got stability, you've got strength, you've got core flex, you've got all sorts of things to help you prevent injury, to keep your posture upright, and to just look good and feel great. Thanks for being here today. Share this info with your friends if you found this valuable. And tell me about your back pain in the comments, and I'll see if I can help you. I'm Susie B. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.